Welcome to my channel. This is More Than Borderline with me. B stands for Becky. And if this is your first time here, I appreciate you stopping in to check it out. If you're returning here, welcome back. I appreciate your support. It is Testimony Tuesday, which means that I am coming to you with story time. I mean, they're not usually happy stories, but they have a happy ending because here I am. But I do think it's important to share some of the things that really contribute to the different kind of personality insecurities that people with borderline have. And I'm sure it's stuff that normal people deal with too. Ours is just to like another level because we're so not grounded in who we are for such a long time. At an age where you really should know who you are. And so you start adapting other people's personalities and traits and trying to be like them because you don't really know who you are or like who you are. At 16, I was pregnant with my second child. And I actually was at 17 at the time that I ended up giving birth. But I was a teenager on Medi-Cal, and I actually ended up having a situation where my water was leaking, my amniotic fluid was leaking. And so I had to be hospitalized and I had to be on 24-hour bed rest till the baby came. Now at the time I was only like 28 weeks pregnant or something like that. So for a teenager who clearly was a restless teenager, if I was pregnant with my second kid, I wasn't the one who was sitting at home. I was not happy about having to sit there. So I wasn't happy that I needed to stay in the bed and use a bedpan, et cetera, et cetera. And I also was just a restless teenager with serious issues. So I felt like I was in jail, and the whole experience was, I don't really know what it was at the time. I was just a teenager who just wanted to get out and do teenage things. And I had no business having a baby. That's the real. And the doctors told me that she may not live. There was like, I don't know, a 70% chance she would live or something like that at this point. So I was scared to even get attached to her because I didn't want to get attached to a child that was going to die. So it ends up that I am only in the hospital for about a month, I think, before I start bleeding and my placenta was tearing away from the wall, which essentially meant the baby was not getting oxygen. And so they were like, we need to do an emergency C-section now. So they prepped me, and when the doctor attempts to do the spinal, the epidural, which I think is the epidural spinal is the same thing for a C-section, it's supposed to numb you. It was extremely painful. And I was bent over and the nurses like holding me, and I'm like, it was hurting so bad. And I was like, this can't be right. So I'm in the operating room and my legs are not going numb. I can move my legs. I can feel my legs. I'm not numb. So the doctors are there and they're getting really impatient. Now, because I'm on Medi-Cal, I'm a part of a doctor group that has several different doctors in the group. And these two doctors are both doing the C-section together. They are talking about me like I'm not there. They are telling dirty jokes. They are laughing. They have no regard for me as a person. I did not matter. And I remember laying there freaked out because they keep poking me with needles and saying like, are you numb yet? Are you numb yet? Can you feel this? And I'm like, yes, I can feel this. And I'm like, why is this not working? Why am I not getting numb? And they just said they were tired of waiting and there was no way that I wasn't numb yet. And even though I told him, I can't see what he's doing, but I could feel you poking me with a needle. I shouldn't feel you poking me with a needle. There's no pressure there. But they didn't care. They didn't believe me. And I was just a dumb little teen on Medi-Cal, having a second baby at 17. And so he cut me open anyway. And they did not place the epidural correctly. So I wasn't numb in any way. I mean, he just sliced me open. And they started taking my uterus out, and I could feel everything they were doing. And I tried to scream. I was trying to scream, but I felt like they had taken my voice box out. It wouldn't even come out. And tears are running down my face. And my mother looks at me and she can see how much pain I'm in. And she's telling the doctor, she can feel it. She can feel it. And he's like, yeah, okay, Mom, just calm down. Like, she obviously didn't matter either because she had raised such a trash kid, right? And finally, my mother hit the doctor. I think she punched him in the arm or something and was like, she can feel it. And then he looked over at me, realized that that was true, and then told the anesthesiologist to just knock me out. That was the last thing I remember. I woke up several hours later, and I didn't even remember I'd had a baby at that point because I didn't know what was going on. But, I could get into the fact that my daughter was only 2 pounds and 10 ounces and premature, and she had to live in a NICU, and visiting her there, and, all of that. Plus I had a 15-month-old at home, and the chaos that went on with that. But that's actually not the point of the story. Because the point of the story is that I already didn't feel like I was valuable. I already didn't feel like I had any worth. Men had already treated me like an object in one way or another. And these doctors confirmed for me I did not matter. It didn't matter if I was in pain. My words didn't matter. I was trash. And I think about that ever so often because a good friend of mine actually ended up having the same doctor deliver some of her children. He treated her and her husband like celebrities because they were. And clearly he puts value on people based on your status, money, whatever. But the fact that they didn't think I had any value, and I already didn't think I had any value, I really ran with that for a really long time. And I acted accordingly. And I think about a lot of stuff that I see going on in the world today. Then we definitely have people on different levels of value based on what we think makes people more valuable, whether it has to do with your race, whether it has to do with your status, whether it has to do with geography, simply where you were born, regardless, or what it has to do with the choices that you've made in life or that you are making in life. All those things do contribute to you as a person, but they do not contribute to your value. Our value is based on the fact that we are created in the image of God. We are God bearers. We are image bearers of God, made in His image for a purpose. And whether we choose to walk within that purpose or not doesn't actually change our value. Do you see what I'm saying? It took me such a long time to see the value in me. I don't think my family saw the value in me. My mom might have, but most people don't really. They're like, oh, you're my mom, you're supposed to. And there were other things to me that were like, well, if you really saw the value in me, you know, such and such, because I was still young and I didn't really know how all that worked. But there was comments my grandmother made. There was different things that happened that to me just continually was like, it's just you. You're nobody. You don't matter. I had friends, you know, who couldn't see, like when I first met my husband, why would he want to be with you? You know, because I was a mess and they didn't see my value either. So show me your friends and I'll show you who you are, right? Like if your friends don't see the value in you and they're not speaking life into you, no wonder that I had such a hard time believing that I was who God said I was. And when my husband just thought so much of me and loved me and just didn't see any of it, I just couldn't wrap my brain around what he saw. Like, how do you not look at me and see trash? Like, how do you not look at me and see just a used, broken shell of a person? But I know now that God gave him the eyes and the heart that my husband should have for me. And it really helped me see myself through God's eyes. And I now believe that I am a child of God. I am exactly who he wants me to be. He never loved me more or less. He doesn't love me more now that I'm doing well than he did at my lowest point. I'm not more valuable now than I was at that moment. And I think I shared this story before, but I remember when I was coming out of recovery for a surgery, and a nurse asked me about my illness and it asked me about my history because she could see it on the thing of my suicide ideation. I don't even think I'm supposed to say that word on here. I might have to blur that out. And she told me that at one point she was homeless and on drugs, living on the street, and that she was worthless. But now that she was a nurse and married and had a family, that now she was doing well, but she hates thinking about who she was. And it broke my heart to think that she really didn't think that she had value. But now that she was a nurse, now she was valuable. Because that's the message that our society wants to send. And it's a lie straight from hell. That's not true. It doesn't matter if you're on the street and on drugs. You still have value. You are still made in God's image. And that is just a part of your story right now. But nobody is beyond redemption. There's nothing God cannot redeem. So just know that if you are in a place where you're questioning your worth and you don't know your value, I'm here to tell you, you are a child of God. You were made in his image. Well, you could actually choose to be a child of Satan. And if you're doing that, you still have value, but you're wasting it. So you for sure would like to move over to the camp where you're a child of the Father who created you, loved you, had a plan for you even when you were his enemy, and wants to walk in eternal healing and glory with you. That's my Testimony Tuesday. Pray that you guys are well. Pray that you're having a better day, being a better person today than you were yesterday. Hope tomorrow's an even better day and that you're a better person tomorrow than you were today, because we're going to change every single day. Make sure it's for the better. Make sure you're growing and not going backwards. See you next time. God bless.